Why not? In regards to this ticket, it's not like they're going to give out your name, address, and phone number. It's just about a ticket that doesn't exist. Who cares? But he wants to be a bit cagey about it and go around the reeking about presenting it. It's like, just present the ticket. Show the ticket and the receipt for the ticket, and everyone's going to be happy. But he doesn't seem to want to. Now, why is this of interest to us is a valid question. Well, because it's an over-the-poles flight that has fallen to pieces. So, globe heads unite. Hooray, we're going to go over the poles and prove it's a globe. Oh no, what? It's not going to happen? It's all fallen to pieces and suddenly there's questions of fraud and dodgy people who believe the Earth's a sphere? Well, that's why we're interested in it. It's a flat Earth debate where this would have been devastating for our argument if you could fly around the poles. But you don't. And this one hasn't either.
What about just flying over Antarctica? Is that possible on a flat Earth?
Yeah, I've interviewed a guy. It's my most popular video, Confessions of an Antarctic Plumber. At one point, he was in a plane flying over Antarctic, and the pilot gave him control of the plane temporarily. So what? We had this conversation on the last show with Jazzaconda. He was like, I know a guy who flew a helicopter in Antarctica. Wowee. So what? Can you fly all the way around north to south, circumnavigating a globe? No. People don't do that. They go east-west.
There have been, let's see, aircraft from the 6 transpolar flights covered in my upcoming book, blah, 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 blah. If it will load. A moment. So here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 transpolar flights that happened. I think in here that happened, or at least that have been covered in his book.
Sorry, you just said... sorry, just let's get clarity. Go back to that picture you had a second ago and say what you said about them again.
Aircraft from the 6 transpolar flights covered in my upcoming book over both poles. Top row, the 3 record-setting flights, Rockwell Polar Flight, 1965, Pan Am Flight 50, 1977, Tech Transpolar 08, 2008. Bottom row, 3 non-record flights, Dustin Transpolar Flight, 1968, Traveler Century Club, 1970, United Classroom in the Sky, 1973. That are the
okay.
So this is claimed to be proof.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Poles, so what I see is pictures of 6 aeroplanes.
You would be correct. That are 6 pictures of aeroplanes.
So how does this in any way prove that they have been pole to pole?
What would be proof for a pole to pole flight?
You tell me. You're the one making the assertion that these planes have done a pole to pole trip. So you tell me.
I would guess you would need evidence for the planes landing at each alleged location. You would need, evidence records for this. You would need photos of stages in the flight.
A compass would be helpful.
No, you need footage from beginning to end.
You need a compass. That's one of the things you will need.
Otherwise, you can edit it together with just pictures.
Yeah, but you still need a compass to prove that you've flown over one of the poles.
Yeah, of course, Anthony, but you also need proof of the actual route. So you need film footage.
But I do think that exists, and it doesn't actually show a pole-to-pole trip. So Jaron covered this very recently, and I saw a snippet from Seventh Day Truth Seeker where he was talking about just this. And when you actually look at the route they actually take, it's not going around top to bottom around a sphere.
Which flight?
I don't know. Like I say, this is not my assertion. Second hand from Jaron.
But there has been multiple, so I guess he's talking about one. But
maybe. But if you can show me the route, the documented route that they've taken.
I have searched some flights. Let's search the. How about we search the Pan Am American flight route?
Cool. Let's have a little look.
Okay.
Once we've gone through this, I'll probably round out this show.
So I think this is the route. I guess it went from the South Pole. Oh, sorry. It started.
Hold on. Can you not see the problem straight away?
So it didn't fly over the South Pole.
Right. Hello.
Yes.
Can you not see? Can you put it back on? Why have you taken it off? Do you
Because
want to go back to that picture that shows that they didn't fly around the globe, the one that you had on a second ago, that completely demolishes your own argument? You seem to have taken it off screen suddenly. There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Calm down.
Can you see a problem there?
I think it's just how this map works.
Oh, really? Do you want to show
Yes.
me it going around a sphere? Because I can tell you straight away that they're not going around a sphere in that route.
Maybe this is a better representation.
Right, that's not showing the route.
Yes, it is right here. Well, not the entire route because it is just a 2D graphic. You can't have the entire sphere in a 2D graphic.
So you're telling me their line across Antarctica was 100% perfectly straight for about 8,500 miles? Is that what you're telling me?
But this is of course a representation. It doesn't have.
So
to
it's
be
not the
the
route then? Right. So what the bloody hell are you babbling about? Why are you telling me this is the route when it isn't, clearly, like I asserted? The route was shown on the map you had earlier. Right.
I think that is just how the map.
It's not going
looks.
around the back of a sphere, is it?
Well, that's because this map isn't a sphere.
It's a
Sorry,
projection.
it does not go
Yeah.
over the pole. Can you go back to it? Why do you keep coming off that map? Do you see
Because
it
I
going
want to
down
see
below
if
the
there is
pole?
another
Or does it
representation.
go past the pole and come back again? I mean, literally, are you this geographically illiterate that you can't see what this map is telling you? It doesn't go over the pole, does it? Doesn't go around the back of the sphere. Look, it's on screen. Why am I having to get annoyed with you? Why isn't the very obvious nature that this does not go over the pole not obvious to you, Apollo?
You got angry quite quickly. I'm not sure why. This is just my well, not my actually first search.
Here's the
but
poll for the audience. It doesn't go over. It goes back on itself.
It's
Okay.
a Cape Town to New Zealand flight stopping off at the South Pole.
Right. Do you not understand
I
what
think-
round the poles would mean? Round a sphere? Does this not slightly alarm you? That where they could have gone around the sphere, they didn't. They went round in a bloody circle. And you're telling me this is proof of pole to pole? It isn't.
Are you getting angry with me?
Yeah,
mate?
very, because you're a moron. You've just told me that those 6 flights went pole to pole. They didn't. They visited
This
the
is
pole,
just
then
one
came back
flight.
again. They
This
visited
is
the
one
pole.
flight.
They visited the pole and then came back again. They didn't go round the sphere circumnavigating north to south.
That is just this representation, how it looks.
What do you mean, Mr. It's on screen. Are you still not computing what's on screen? Do you think this proves they went round the back of the sphere? Are you dumb?
I'm going to leave if you keep insulting me for no
I'm insulting
reason.
you because you're a moron. Do you not understand that this destroys your own argument, you complete retard? You get annoyed with people when they put this on screen, having told me that 6 flights went circumnavigating pole to pole, then you put this on. And you tell me that, oh no, it's just the way the map's representing it. Wrong!
Yeah.
They didn't go circumnavigating pole to pole. They went in a circle. They visited the pole, then came back again. This does not back your argument. Do you get it yet? Or will I continue getting annoyed with you, Apollo?
We talked really nicely to each other for several shows.
Yeah,
And
until
this-
you asserted
I'm
this
really-
complete horseshit and haven't conceded yet that it destroys your own argument. That's why I'm getting more annoyed with you, because you're not conceding that this demolishes your assertion.
I'm saying that this representation doesn't show it.
Right, it doesn't show them going pole to pole, circumnavigating north to south, does it?
No, what's that line?
Hold on, Ranty.
Why-
I
why-
want him to concede, Ranty.
Nathan,
I want him to
this is more
concede
manipulation.
so I can lower my blood pressure. I want to round the show out with Apollo saying, you're right, This does not demonstrate north to south circumnavigation, Nathan. Thank you for pointing out my idiocy. That's what I want to hear from Apollo.
This particular map doesn't show it.
Sorry, if I translate this to a different map, will they then go over the South Pole and round the back of a sphere if I put a different map in place?
I've already showed you a different map where
this is the map that shows the route, right? And I'm asking you a very simple question. If you put this on a different map, will it mean that they're going round the back of a spherical Earth? Or will they still be going around the continents as depicted here? Because I can guarantee you this plane that I'm highlighting for the audience isn't going over the South Pole. It's coming back on itself. It's blatantly obvious. Why have you taken it off screen again?
Because I wanted to show, to see which plane you were showing.
It's your plane. This is your argument. What plane? Put it back on screen.
I think what he's...
Stop taking it off screen. This is your argument. This is your plane. This is your bullshit.
I think what he's referring to is if you wrap this thing around into a sphere, then it works, and then you would see it disappearing. What I have to say about that is, why don't they show that in the beginning?
No, that only works with the North Pole. Nathan's point is that doesn't work with the South Pole.
He's not going over the South Pole and underneath the sphere. Going round in a circle. You can see it's on screen. Right. He doesn't go over the South Pole. It's blatantly bloody obvious.
We also have a nice white disc that goes around the edge, and I wonder what latitude and longitudes they are.
I just came on to bring up, there's a great YouTube channel called Cloud Surfing, and in my opinion, he does the best outside plane footage, like GoPro cam, or he doesn't always have the GoPro, but he usually has a reference which shows the airplane and where it is relative to the land. And he does one flight in particular, Los Angeles to Frankfurt, Germany, that shows how the sun wraps around. Because if you look at where he's oriented, the sun shouldn't be where it is on a heliocentric model, but it does work for like the flat model or the sun in a circle model. It's the closest thing I've ever seen, but it's really good footage though. It's high res. He edits it well. It's got a ton of subs. So, Cloud Surfing.
So, Apollo, you asked me why I was getting annoyed with you. I've explained. It doesn't back your assertion that it's a circumnavigation north to south. Because if it was, it would show it going over the South Pole, and it doesn't. So, are you going to concede that this is not a circumnavigation north to south or not?
This particular map, well... What do you mean? Do you mean this line should have gone like this over the entire South Pole? Is that you?
What do you think north to south circumnavigation means, Apollo?
It means, let's see, here you have the South Pole, and here you have the North Pole. It means that you go like this across both of them and then come back where you started.
Right, so at some point, you go over the South Pole and up the other side of the sphere you think you live on. This is definitely not going to show that no matter what map you put it on.
Yes, this one does.
Oh, really? So on this map, we're going over Antarctica, completely contrary to the other map.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this the same journey, please?
No, it's not. He's a retard and doesn't realise how stupid he's being. It doesn't show them going over the South Pole on this map, but a bullshit sphere Earth that looks nothing like a sphere Earth suddenly shows that it goes over the South Pole, and he doesn't see the contradiction.
Well, this part is the South Pole, right? This.
Yeah, they're not going over it. They're getting near it and then going back again.
Yeah, they're getting near it.
Right! So do you concede finally that it's not a north-south navigation?
I'm saying that this particular map doesn't show it very well.
Yeah, it doesn't show it going over the South Pole. And if this is to be trusted, your assertion, your map, your reference, it's not doing north to south circumnavigation. It's just visiting the South Pole, then going back again.
Then I guess this map is inaccurate.
Not the map! Not the map, dickhead! The flight! The flight is not a north-south circumnavigation. I've said it about 20 times. But you want to keep saying it's the map that's at fault. It's not the map. It's just not doing what you've said it does.
Yes, I do say that now. I think this representation does not show the flight as it actually happened.
Oh, so what you're saying is the author of your reference has got it completely wrong, and where they say they went from Cape Town to the South Pole and then to Auckland, actually they went over the South Pole. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling this map used by CNN Travel is inaccurate.
Why the hell have you got it on screen then?
Fake news.
Excuse me, why have you brought it up then?
Well, I said at the beginning that I didn't research this particular flight very well.
Oh, right. Well, we have now, haven't we? We've looked at it and we've found a reference that you say is garbage and doesn't support your assertion, and now you're saying it's CNN wrong. No. The flight took this path. It did not go over the South Pole and circumnavigate a globe north to south. It didn't do what you think it did. Why won't you concede this?
Because I now think this map is not a representation of how the flight happened.
Why? Why would you assert that?
What's your litmus test for truth, Apollo? What do you need to see to believe it?
Match the other map. Well, it doesn't match the other graphic.
What graphic?
Well, don't you think this
What
should
graphic?
just show us a ball
Hold on,
with a
what
line going over?
graphic? What graphic
a
doesn't it
different
match?
question.
The one that shows it going over the South Pole with no other marks whatsoever about the journey? That one, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh
the
wow!
flight
Well, that
went
doesn't show
over the
anything.
South
It doesn't
Pole
show
in a
anything
straight
to do with the
line.
flight. There's
How
no
long?
details to do with the
Apollo
flight.
are having a conversation.
I don't get it. There's no reference on the other image whatsoever to a journey. There's just a line drawn on a bullshit graphic of Antarctica.
Then I will try and look for a better representation of the flight, and I will then get back to you.
Well,
Yeah,
you've
better
already
do
done
that.
it. You told us there were 6 flights. You picked one at random, the first one on the list. It didn't back your
Yeah.
assertion. Now you're saying, oh, the map's wrong, CNN are wrong. It's not me wrong. It's not that we don't go over the South Pole as we assert, and I said Jaren had asserted before we looked. So without doing any research either, just like you, I managed to assert that they would just go round in a circle, like Jaren had asserted. You went, well, which reference, which flight? And I thought, it doesn't matter, they'll all do it. You picked one at random, and lo and behold, that's what it does. But you will not concede that this didn't go over the South Pole, even though that's exactly what it shows. You think CNN have got it wrong.
I will email them to see what they have to say about it.
Okie dokie,
I mean,
you go away and do
passenger.
that. And I will bet
You get that.
anybody in the audience, including you, that you will not find a circumnavigation of the globe. Because we don't live on a globe. When you look, you'll find this. And then you'll tell me that CNN are wrong. And you're going to email them about their incorrect bullshit. No, I absolutely assure you that is the route they took, without even double checking it. But it didn't go over the South Pole. It didn't prove your bloody globe. Oh, are we back to this piece of crap, are we? This with nothing referencing, it's just a picture. Nothing. It doesn't show anything to do with flights. It's a Facebook page. Is this your citation? A Facebook page with a picture of Earth with a white bloody line around it? Oh, we're off that now. Now I'm ripping that a new one. Back onto the pictures of the flight crew. On your Facebook
Looks
page.
like nice.
Yeah, we don't want to see the flight crew. We want to see this shite. See this shite? Yeah, with a white line around it. Who took this picture? Oh, back to the flight crew. Back to the pictures.
Not a
Click, 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 click,
picture.
click, click, click. Yeah, go onto your
It's
crap
CGI.
picture
Oh, I
that you
can
think
find
shows
it
it going over
forever.
Antarctica.
Here we go.
Here we go, that one.
Oops,
A
sorry.
picture.
There we
One
go.
Picture.
What the hell is this? This is a Facebook reference.
This is the Trans-Antarctic Mountain Range.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I see an ocean there, so that's frozen. So it may be a picture of Antarctica.
Can you just
But-
click on my screen? That's Mars. There's cars on it. See that? It's Mars.
No, but this is just at the edge. There's no proof that they've actually
There you go.
been
That's the Antarctic.
over the
Because
poles.
Apollo says so and Facebook says so. That's Mars.
That-
That's because I say
a
so.
flight over the
Mars,
theoretical
those are lunar
Antarctic
rovers.
continent.
See the lunar rovers,
They say-
Apollo?
Can I say
See the
something,
lunar
please?
rovers?
A flight over
Amazing,
the
isn't it?